Hey guys, welcome back to Clownfish TV. This is Neon. I am here with Geeky Sparkles.
Hello.
And we're going to talk about Hasbro, Chris Cox, and the kidults that they're chasing. They're not after your kids anymore, guys. So there's
Thank God. No, I'm kidding.
Hasbro doesn't want your children anymore. No, they want kidults, which are basically teenagers, and they want adult collectors, and they're going all in on collectibles and mobile apps. According to Chris Cox, yes.
Well, he looks like a cock because he's got short and curly hair.
Oh. So let's talk about this. Before we get into it any further, please subscribe for more pop culture news, views, and rants. Guys, get woohoo if you do.
Woohoo!
Yeah, I'm losing my voice here, man. It's like we're screaming too much today.
Too much cocks.
Too much. Oh no, Neon can't talk because he's had too much cocks today. His throat just closed off. He couldn't take any more.
Sorry, I'll be good. I'll be good for the rest of the video.
Oh my god. Anyway, let's talk about this. Yeah, so we've been following the situation with Hasbro and Mattel. Mattel's not in very good shape right now either.
Well, isn't Mattel trying to buy like some luxury brand? They're trying to do the same thing. They're trying to turn their stuff into,
a brand, an IP. Yeah.
Yeah, and like they have their Mattel Creator. Is that what it is? Creations?
Yeah, it's like their
same
Kickstarter
thing as like the Hasbro
basically.
Pulse. Yeah.
Yeah, and so it seems like most of the collector stuff, it is a higher dollar. They're doing it with He-Man. They're doing it with Jurassic Park. They're doing it with Monster High now.
Yeah, but sometimes I'm noticing the quality is starting to go down.
Oh, sure.
At least on the Monster High stuff. Got
to squeeze those margins. You got to squeeze them. But Hasbro does the same thing. And a lot of the toy lines that they're announcing, I mean, I keep asking people like why they keep going back to the same well again and again and again. They're not making any new things because they're not incentivized to, because kids today aren't playing with toys like they used to. And also the birth rates are down. They actually brought that up in the Yahoo article. I thought there was like a population crisis or overpopulation crisis. They're basically saying millennials, Gen Z, they're not having kids.
Oh, millennials for sure aren't. Yeah, I mean, and I don't know about Gen Z, but yeah, there was a video that I sent to the kids the other day. It was a joke that the Gen Z kids are like 17 and pregnant, and they said the millennials are like they're showing off their cats and their cat toys.
Oh my God. Yeah. So we're gonna talk about this because we said that there's a definite shift, and we've talked about Hasbro in particular. A lot of their toys winding up at Ollie's. They're unsold, and that's across the board. Mostly it's Star Wars and Marvel stuff, right? But there is some other stuff that's winding up there because kids, just aren't buying them. Collectors aren't buying them for whatever reason. But Power Rangers, they're actually outsourcing to Playmates.
We outsource Little's Pet Shop and stuff too.
Yeah, I was gonna bring that up. Like these are all Hasbro owned brands, right? And they're not making these toys anymore. These are like the kid brands. And they're not making them anymore. They're focusing on like Transformers and G.I. Joe and not even My Little Pony. I was very surprised. Oh, they're doing Hello Kitty Care Bears. But I was very surprised that they're not even making My Little Pony themselves. They're outsourcing that too. And so they're apparently going all in on kidults. And
I don't want to be called a kidult.
Kidults. I didn't even know that was the thing. That sounds like. I
mean, but do you buy toys? Yes. Do you collect toys? Yes. I guess you're a kidult. No.
She just turned 18. She's a kidult. No, I don't know. You know what I'm saying? Like it's a weird term.
I know.
So we'll read the article. We could probably watch part of this video here, but this goes along with the Dungeons and Dragons video we did yesterday. That he triples down on mobile apps. He's like, oh, we have like 100 mobile apps based on our portfolio that we're going to exploit.
Does anybody use the mobile apps? And
Monopoly was making money.
Are they just games?
Yeah, they're just games, basically. It's like, what the hell? Like, they're going down the road of Konami, right? Konami, the video game company. I don't know if Geeky's familiar
Yes, I know
with
Konami.
No, I know you know Konami, but you know what happened with Konami? They basically just started making, like, pachinko machines and slot machines and stuff and gambling machines, and they stopped making, like, actual video games. But they were making these gambling machines, pachinko machines, whatever, based on their IP, like Castlevania and stuff like that. But they stopped making, like, that's what they're going to do. They're going to be like, oh, we'll gamify all this shit that we've made over the past 40, 50 years. But we're not going to make new stuff, and we're not going to really make toys for kids anymore. Overpriced collectibles. That's what we're going to do. So this is, again, coming from Yahoo Finance. It said, several weeks ago, I caught up with Chris Cox, right? And he is a leader further along in his company turnaround playbook than these other CEOs they talked to. They chatted at the Goldman Sachs Communicopia conference. That's where he basically said, we're going all in on AI. He said it hasn't been an easy gig for the lifelong gamer turned CEO. Yeah,
please. I keep leading with that.
He's a gamer. He came from Xbox. He's a kidult. He actually did come from Xbox. He was at Xbox for like 15 years, and so was Cynthia Williams. And I told you, as soon as these people took over Wizards of the Coast, they were going to turn Dungeons and Dragons and Magic the Gathering into a shitty mobile app. And I made it originally, I say as a joke, but he's saying the quiet part out loud now. He's saying this is what they're going to do.
But like, listen, he said they're even making excuses of him. This was his first CEO job, and it came with inevitable growth and growing pains. Basically, we're excusing that his dumbassery because this is his first CEO position.
Yeah, he was taking the baton from Brian Goldner. Goldner was there for a long time.
Goldner died, and there wasn't time to find, it wasn't like they had the notice or whatever to let people know.
It was weird because this is a guy who's the CEO of the biggest toy company in the world. And he had terminal cancer, and he didn't tell anybody. Like, he knew he had cancer. He didn't tell anybody. He's just like, yep, I'm going on vacation. And he just never came back. Like, wow. You know what I'm saying? It was very, very weird. But yeah, and they said that they got into it with Ultifox that wanted to spin off Wizards into its own company, which I think it probably would have done better. And they laid a bunch of people off at Wizards. Not helping matters were shifts. This is where it gets interesting. Not helping matters were shifts in the toy industry, such as lower birth rates, post-pandemic inventory overhangs. No, nobody's buying the Star Wars and Marvel shit, right?
Yeah, yes. He's not buying it even at Ollie's, so.
Right. Retailers ordering fewer goods to manage their inventory levels.
Translation, they bought fewer Star Wars toys.
There's hardly any Star Wars. At Walmart, they our local Walmart has a couple of pegs of the the overpriced $20 figures, the vintage collection or whatever. They have a couple of Black Series, maybe a peg or two of the Black Series figures, and then like a couple of pegs of the new 4-inch. But there's no when was the last time they made vehicles?
4 inches. Coxfield's represented.
When was the last time they made vehicles for Star Wars?
No, they have some, I think. I'm pretty sure they do.
Back in the day, the reason the figures were 4 inches was so that they would fit in the vehicles. Because Kenner wanted you to buy the vehicles.
Well, cost can tell you 4 inches easily fits into most vehicles.
Well, the last Falcon they put out remember the nap time Falcon?
Yes.
That was the most pathetic thing I've ever seen. They had a Millennium Falcon for the Solo movie. Of course they do. But they knew people weren't going to pay $50-$60 for it. So they made a $25 Falcon, which was so small, Han Solo had to lay down in the cockpit.
Well, when it's small, the 4 inches look bigger.
Anyway, that thing probably goes for a lot of money now. Naptime Falcon. I should have got one of those just because it'd be kind of fun. Anyway, yeah, they're talking about sales plunge 15%. They had an adjusted operating loss of $477 million.
It hasn't been a fun road for him. Hasn't been a fun road for us either, especially if you're a D&D fan.
It's been rough. It's a little rough on Cox.
Yeah, I know, right?
A little rough. A little dry there. But through a series of key actions in the past 12 months, this company could be beginning to come out the other side.
I'm good. I'm biting my tongue. Continue.
He likes it rough.
Inventory
levels have been slashed by more than 50% as Hasbro focuses on the toys with the best sales and profit potential. Not Power Rangers, not Star Wars, not Marvel. And, well, actually, no, Marvel, they're doing vintage Marvel. They're doing the Secret Wars now.
Yeah,
which they know collectors will buy because it's old Marvel. Nobody wants the new shit. They all want the old shit. It's a digital game development. They're losing market share amid the SKU cleanup, but at least it's not losing money on unsold leftovers.
Because they offload them to Ollie's?
Yeah, they did. They sold E1
Wasn't Hasbro the one that was landfilling their stuff?
Yeah, they were finding. Now I don't know the full story behind this, but apparently they were finding a bunch of magic cards in landfills.
Yeah, not just that though. Weren't they like chopping up their Star
action
Wars
figures?
Toys
Yeah, Star
and
Wars
stuff
toys.
too?
Yeah,
And,
Tico action figures. Yeah, they were putting them in the damn. They're putting them in the wood chipper. They were. They were scrapping them. The company completed the sale of E1 to Lionsgate, so they were all like. So this is what's so weird. I really would like for a CEO of a toy company to actually be about toys, because Brian Goldner, the reason they had the movie division, the reason they had the hub and they went all in on movies is that was his thing. He wanted Hasbro to be a Disney. He wanted them to make movies. And so they went all in on the movies. And I think that was to their detriment, because that's when they started losing the it factor that made them like the best toy company out there. Now we've got this guy, and he's from Microsoft, so he knows video games. Now they just want to turn it into a video game company.
Well, Hasbro is well along the road and to deliver $750 million in cost cuts in 2025. So expect your stuff to be more shitty.
Yeah, well, there's going to be more layoffs, too. Cox, who spent 14 years at Xbox, has pivoted the business hard to games. It's the Monopoly Go game, a joint venture with Scopely, has grossed $3 billion in sales life to date, with Hasbro taking in $45 million in sales in the first half of the year under its agreement. Again, they're going to turn D&D into a shitty mobile app. That's what it's going to be at the end of the day. So D&D, as we've known it, people were jumping in the comments on the last video, and they're like, well, D&D is still around as a brand. I'm like, yeah, but the D&D that we knew, that we played for years as a tabletop game, it's done.
Well, no, D&D will stay around, but people play in the old books.
Yeah.
And other people that are still trying to make their own things that fit and feel like D&D. And so to that end,
spiritual successors.
But I don't think I wouldn't bet on Hasbro.
No.
Anytime soon.
The best thing Hasbro could do for D&D, honestly,
is sell it to somebody else.
Maybe not even selling it. I mean, there was talk that Tencent might buy it, but keeping the IP rights, but then outsourcing the books to somebody else. Actually,
is that something that's helpful?
I don't know. Well, it depends on where it goes, right? Because a lot of these companies now are just like overrun with activists. Anyway, we have over 100 games in the pipeline on mobile.
Oh, wow.
Through partnerships. And then we have several interesting joint ventures and partnerships we're also talking about. In light of the historically high multiples paid to acquire gaming businesses, Take-Two buying Zynga, this pivot makes a lot of sense. Yeah, but those gaming companies, they're all collapsing, a lot of them, right? Like they all got gobbled up by Embracer, and then like Microsoft bought Activision, all this stuff. And then like lots of layoffs came because they were too big. They're not sustainable. Cox said Hasbro is now targeting kidults, those over 13 who spend on gaming and more adult wait.
Okay, I know. I saw it.
Cox is targeting kidults over 13 who spend money on adult toys.
Can't wait for the Optimus Prime adult toy.
You know, Mr. Beast has a toy line out there now. Did you know that? They have to compete with Mr. Beast for the kidults.
Call it Bumblebee because it buzzes.
Oh my God. Headmasters. Okay, Hasbro's stock has shown signs of life this year as investors have gotten more familiar with the new business model. So he's basically he's pitching it as a video game company, and then he's just outsourcing all his stuff. Keeping the momentum going into year end won't be easy, given conditions in the toy industry and the video game industry. The video game industry is collapsing in real time. So, like, you literally jumped out of the frying pan and into the fire.
Wait, look at this. Sales for toys in the G12 countries fell 1% to $24.5 billion from January to June. Right, because you aren't buying the toys out. They usually buy them, usually for like Christmas and stuff. You get birthdays in there. But the big push for toys is usually around Christmas time.
Yeah. I don't know. That ultimately begged the question. Should Hasbro even be considered a toy company anymore given the gaming push? Cox says, I think we're a toy company in the most general sense, that we're in the industry of play with adult toys and kidults over the age of 13. And we make physical things as well as digital things. But I'd like to think that we're helping to redefine what a toy company can be. To me, a toy company of the future is aged up It's digital and it's heavily partner based. And I think that's been the key to our turnaround.
I'm sorry, I'm biting my tongue. But, here's the thing, though. What they're doing has already been done. Like, there's already been companies that make mobile games and games. It's not that, like, you didn't invent something new. You know what I mean?
It's because this is what he knows. This is the thing. I'm not saying he's not qualified to be in charge of a company, right? I'm not saying that.
It's like a thumb with hair on it.
He's Chapek with hair. So I'm not saying what I'm saying is he is not the right person to be in charge of Hasbro, a toy company, because he's trying to turn it into something else. And I think investors or whoever the hell the board, whoever the hell they answer to, I think everybody's in panic mode. Like all these toy companies are in panic mode. They're like, oh my God, guys, what's the new thing? What's the new thing that the kids want? The video games, the Fortnites.
But they don't want kids, they want adults. I mean, but they said, to be fair, they were saying that the biggest, consumer of toys is becoming adults. So, I mean, you got to pivot where the money is. I mean, to their point.
Okay, so what happened?
I get what they're saying, but you're still going to have to keep the kids' toys around too.
And yeah, we talked about this. I had Scott Knightlick on from Mattel. He worked for Mattel for years, and he was there during the classics line, and we were talking about that. We said that basically,
better be careful saying that name, or you'll invoke the crazy.
We don't want the angry He-Man stans to come after us.
Stan,
the one Stan, but like. Yeah, he was saying that they noticed a change too. That like it was mostly adults buying. But when you're talking about something like Masters of the Universe or Transformers, I think Transformers is a little more evergreen, but still like adults are the ones that have a connection to those brands because those brands were introduced to us as children. But eventually we're going to get to a point where the adults aren't going to buy this stuff anymore because they're either not going to have any more money because they're going to be retirees.
No room further in their house for more.
In their house. And I mean, the thing with like the Transformer fandom is like, once you get the primo version of a character, there's no incentive to buy another version of that character. So they keep like going back to the G1 characters again and again and again. It's like, okay, well, you can only make a G1 Bumblebee so many times, right? Because he buzzes. But it's, what I'm saying? And then they try to make them appeal to kids and they try to make the cheaper ones, but they just look like McDonald's toys and they're pretty awful. But they said, yeah, are adults even going to keep buying toys? Because they said that this was kind of a millennial thing, a Gen X and millennial thing. But they're saying that this could even peter out. People were flush with cash during the pandemic. Yeah, now they can't afford McDonald's. How are they going to?
Yeah, all these fast food restaurants are offering these deals to try to get people back because people can't afford it. And I think you're probably going to see a decline in toys this year again because, like you said, people just can't afford it. I mean, that's across the board.
They're calling them kidults, too. It said around collecting 38% of kidults.
I don't think that's a new term, honestly. I've heard it before many times.
God, sounds
I still don't like it, though.
Man baby, man child. That's kind of what it was. They have toys and collectibles on display in their home or at work. You should see our house and you should see our office. Mm-hmm. And 84% have held on to toys from their childhood for an average of 16 years, according to the Miniverse survey. They say collectibles, stuffed animals, and dolls. Well, if you have a stuffed animal or a doll that meant a lot to you, I can see somebody holding on to that. But yeah, the definition of adulthood has definitely evolved. What it used to mean to be an adult was to be a very upstanding, serious member of society. Have you been on social media?
Yeah.
And to do that,
there's a lot of children on social media.
And to do that, you had to demonstrate intellectually, emotionally, and every other way. Now we feel a lot more free to express our fandom as part of our adulthood.
And if you do, and they don't like your opinion, then you're a bigot man baby.
Yeah, right. The fandom skews more male and more millennial and Gen X, said Geek Dad Life. I don't think it's... They said it's the modern-day version when our grandparents collected Hummel figures at precious moments.
It kind of is. I mean, why does collect vintage toys and new things? I have so many things I can't list them all, so I'll just say things.
She's got quite the collection. We kind of replaced, like, we talked about this before, and actually made it into the Clownfish TV comic book, but we actually had a pretty sizable toy collection between the two of us, and then money got tight. Kids were on the way. We sold it, most of it, and
had jumbo frilly frocks.
Jumbo frilly frocks.
Had to sell it.
Yeah, you didn't run down the street crying for it though.
No.
I have looked. I have tried to find one in good condition.
I wouldn't even bother because we don't have room for it. And for the price and the room that takes, I could have had a hell of a lot more classic G1 My Little Ponies.
The dog would just hump it.
Probably.
He would.
He'd be like excited like hawks. Tell me about your margins, your tight margins. Anyway,
oh my God.
Can we wrap this up?
Oh my God. Yeah, let's wrap this up.
I need to go brush some pony hair.
I need to go rinse out my ears. Please subscribe for more pop culture news, views, and rants. We'll talk later.
Bye.
Join the reef. Go to clownfish-.com. That's clownfish-.com. You will get exclusive access to podcasts and videos and comic strips and more, as well as merch discounts. Check it out. If you were a member, you could get this t-shirt, this dismal t-shirt on our website. You'd get a 10% discount on that. You can also join in the community on clownfish-.com. Thank you so much for the support.